What is going on, my beautiful people? In today's video, we are going to be putting out a little bit more mineral down here at the hunting land. I got 4 trophy rocks there, and I'm excited to put these out in front of some trail cameras and see what big bucks we got lurking out here on our hunting property. Got Dad rolling up on the Polaris. I also did some e-scouting, some online scouting, so we're going to check out some new locations to potentially put a trail camera and maybe even a stand. So we're going to go ahead and get out there before it gets too hot. Oh, and I also forgot, we got to take the canister off of that tractor I was using last weekend because the bushing blew out in the hydraulic cylinder. So we got to take it off, that way we can try to get that fixed. But luckily we can break out the old trusty John Deere, and we're gonna do some planting with that. So stay tuned, that way you don't miss us getting prepped. First place that we're going to put out a trophy rock is actually right in here. Our neighbors have a lake that actually flooded back up onto our property, and so as you can see through the woods, it's opened up a lot of this area, and we're assuming that a bunch of deer are bedding right in here, and you can see this trail coming out. So me thinking this was a transition area, decided to put a trail camera on it, and we had 22 pictures in the past week, so I'm really excited to see what's been used in this transition area. And since I'm going to be hunting a lot with a bow and there's a bunch of potential places to put up a stand in here, I'm going to put a trophy rock in this area, and hopefully it'll bring in some bigger bucks. Alright everybody, we got our trophy rock set up. As you can see, it's right there kind of on the edge of this road and a little bit of some rock. That way it'll get a chance to soak in, and then again we have all of this open area that hopefully the deer are going to come into. So the trail camera will tell us in about a week, 2 weeks, maybe even when bow season comes in and we come down here, what's been coming to this area and if we need to put out some attractant. But that's my game plan for now, so hopefully it'll work. But as you can tell, we got a feeder. We put this out last week, so we'll see how many pictures are on this camera as well. And I think we're going to put a trophy rock here because this is another pretty good bow hunting location. 236 photos in a week. So that sounds pretty good to me. Hopefully it will yield some good results and we will be able to come back in here with a bow, put a smack down on a deer. But we are going to go ahead and change out this trail camera card and get the trophy rock out, probably just right there in that sand or somewhere where we can get a good shot from that bow stand. Alright, we got our trophy rock in our second location. As you can see, right behind the feeder, and that trail camera's on that pine tree right there. You also got the stand right there, which I know that branch is kind of in the way, but that way you got a little bit more cover. I mean, if a deer's standing here licking, you're going to be able to get a shot. You just got to be a little careful with that branch if they're on this side, but I would like to have that little bit of cover. So that's spot number 2 for the trophy rock. We are going to go ahead and meet you at spot 3. Spot number 3, you can probably see the trail camera on the pine tree in front of us. There's a field actually down that road right around the bend. And there's a field right down there with a massive wasp nest and a stand on that field. But we actually don't have a stand in this general area, but we do have a trail camera. And we're going to put this trophy rock right here when I move this pine branch. And it'll be right here in front of this camera. We got deer that'll come up the hill this way and up the hill this way, and there's a bunch of trails in here and plenty of trees for you to sit a stand on. Let me know what kind of stand would you bring in here. Just a hang on? Would you try to put up a double man stand? Would you use a saddle? I'm looking for options, so let me know. And that one took its time getting turned on, but looks like we got full battery and 118 photos right here, which is really good considering that nothing is here other than trails. So it's good to see that 118 potential pictures. Now, of course, we don't know what those pictures are yet, but we'll find out soon enough. All right, we at spot number 4 now? Yeah, 4, because we got our 4th trophy rock. And actually, we just saw a mom and 3 babies run right through there, so that was pretty interesting. But we got our feeder set up, got a bow stand right there, as I'm pretty sure you can see it's right here. And we got our trail camera. So we're gonna see how many photos were on this trail camera. Again, I'm gonna be looking at these trail camera photos today, and it'll be in the video that should have been linked already 2 or 3 times. But make sure you go back and watch that video. That way you'll see this is the first week we've had pictures of deer out here. And unfortunately, this thing is saying that there's 0 photos out of 0 photos. So don't think that this camera is necessarily reading right. But we'll find out when we get back to the house and take a look at them. Again, check the video. I'll link it up above for you one more time. Come back in, well, y'all won't have to wait 2 weeks, but I gotta wait 2 weeks. And we're gonna check and see what's been coming to the trophy rock. And hopefully we will put the smack down on a deer. All right, as you can see, we got our trophy rock set up. Perfect shooting from the stand. We got a new card in the camera. And we are gonna skedaddle on out of here, and I will see you guys in a couple weeks. Well, that was not too bad of a day out here at the hunting property. Dad loves to lock a door, even though we're the only one for the next 100 miles. But not a bad day. We got a lot of planning done. Dad got a lot of plowing done. We got our trophy rock set out, and hopefully we'll get a lot of pictures of some bucks. I'm pretty excited to look through these trail camera photos, and I'm really excited to come back, kill some bees, unfortunately, cut some shooting lanes, and get ready for deer season. We're about a month out, so probably be down here next weekend and do some cutting for those lanes. That way we can let it rest for the 2-3 weeks before bow season, and we'll come in here and hopefully get on some big bucks. All right, everybody, so you guys just watched a lot of footage of us taking, and we put out some trophy rocks, and we did some planning of one of the bigger fields on our hunting land. And Dad actually went back this past week while I was working and pulled the trail camera cards from where we put out those trophy rocks, and also checked on the field. He said the field was doing really good. Unfortunately, I don't really have any footage of that field, but it started coming up. We had gotten some rain, so that's really good. That food plot's coming up and it's looking good. Hopefully we'll get some more rain soon. There's some in the forecast towards the tail end of this week, which will be right before bow season. So I'm really excited about that. And I have a couple videos that I'm really excited to be filming here shortly of doing some e-scouting online and finding different areas where I think there's gonna be big bucks, hopefully in these pinch points that I'll show you guys all about in those videos. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna go through some of the trail camera photos that I pulled out. Unfortunately, there was no big bucks. I was a little disappointed in that, and so that's what's kind of led me into trying to find these areas. I know they're down there. I'll put a picture up on the screen, or I'll actually just try to find the photo here of about a 1/4 mile or 1/2 mile away from our property boundary of one of the deers that our neighbor had got on camera. There. So this picture right here was actually taken from down there, and as you can see, this deer is massive. So there should be a bunch of really nice deer down there. We just unfortunately haven't got them on camera yet. It's been really hot down there, so that's probably part of the reason as to why we haven't gotten that many deer on camera. But hopefully that'll change since it's starting to cool off some. We've had a little bit of a cold front come through this past week, where it was 80 degrees in the morning, 100 throughout the day. It dropped down to 60s in the morning. So I wish that cold front would have come through about a week later. That way we would have had a chance to hunt it. But hey, I'll take what I can get, and the cooler temperatures are gonna do nothing but help me. But let's go ahead, we're gonna look through some of these trail camera cards. The first one is kind of in a bedding area that Dad actually found, and this is one of his favorite spots to go. But as you can see, the raccoons have found the feeder, and they're doing everything they can to get to that corn. Next up is actually on top of the hill where we've had a lot of success in the past of getting pictures of deer. And we had a baby doe coming in. I love seeing baby deer. To me, they're just adorable. In that same location, we had this 6-pointer come through. I'm assuming he has brow tines, but clearly still in velvet, clearly a young deer. And then we had a bunch of turkeys come in that same place, as well as this fox. Next up is actually that big field that we planted. And I like this picture because you can kind of see in the distance where some of that's coming up and even closer. The picture's a little washed out, but there was a baby deer just walking through the middle of that field. And lastly, we're at the location that means a lot to me. This is one that I actually did a bunch of e-scouting, and I assume that this is a very high transition point. And in all of these pictures we had, if we had one doe picture, we had 20 or 30. I just pulled some of my favorites, that way we didn't have to go through all of it. But right here, you know, we got a spike and 2 does coming in, and then boom, we have 5 does. And there's a trophy rock at the base of that tree that's right there in the middle of the picture. But this is a high transition point between a water source, bedding area, and food. And then, of course, we have this little spike again. And that's really all that was in that area. I'm waiting for the day that we get a picture of a big buck using that transition point, because I know it's coming. And then lastly, this is one of the places where I'll probably spend a lot of the time early season with a bow, because we're gonna try to get some meat right out the jump on opening day. I'm hunting mainly does just because I need the meat, and I'll focus on bucks once I have some that are actually patterned and we're able to get in there and chase them. But as you can see, we got a mom doe with 2 babies, and then the other doe, and then we got a group of pretty much older does here. So pretty excited about that and what all that this year is going to bring. I've been putting in a lot of work behind the house, and there's a lot more that we need to do in Sandersville, and a lot that you guys probably haven't seen, but we're getting some work done, and I have a great feeling about this deer season. But enough about me and myself. Let's go ahead and we're going to get into the verse of the week. So this verse of the week is actually one that has been shoved in my face a lot this week. God is really trying to make me understand this and driving it in my face. And it's funny how he'll do that when you're in his word and you pray for him to show you stuff. So if you haven't, or you feel like you haven't had experiences with God, or he's not talking to you, seek God and you'll find him. I mean, that's in there. If you seek me, you'll find me. But you have to seek him with your whole heart. You have to mean it, and you have to want to change. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and we'll get into this verse of the week. If you want to flip with me, it's Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. 5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding." This is the King James Version, but basically this is saying, trust God with all your heart, and don't trust your own understanding. If we get into 6, that kind of explains why you should do that. In all thy ways acknowledge him, so acknowledge God and that God's working in your life, and he shall direct thy path. So don't trust your path, trust God's path, trust his way. He's going to lead you the way that you need to go. So trust in that. Don't trust in your understanding of things. I know that there's really easy to get caught up in, well, why would somebody do that? Or why would that happen? Or why are these things happening to me? It's because God is using that, whether it's to grow your faith stronger to him, to bring you closer to him. There's lots of different reasons that God will create things that we may think is bad, but it'll have an upside. Just take COVID-19 and quarantine, for example. I know that there's been a lot of people that since March and when quarantine happened have gotten a lot closer to God. So was COVID-19 used to get people alone and distract them from the world, to get them to a place where they had nothing to do but sit inside, and maybe they returned to the Lord because he was working on them? I mean, I feel like that happened with me. I've been home alone a lot. Now, of course, Candace has had to go to work and come in, so I've definitely had human interaction, but God has revealed so much to me, and I've grown so much closer in my walk with God. And you can see that even on my channel. You know, I started doing these verses of the week because I feel like God wanted me to share his word, and this was one of the avenues that I felt that I could. Trust in God, trust in his plan, because, you know, he made the universe, and you're trusting him with your eternal life if you're a believer. So why not trust him with your day-to-day life as well? But anyways, guys, that's all I got for you this week. Hopefully you learned something from this message. This is definitely something that God has struck out to me as I have made my way into Proverbs. Guys, get in the Word. This is a study Bible that I have. My other Bible's over by the bed. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this content. Hope you enjoyed watching the planning and getting out these things. And we're not finding the big bucks that we have yet, but like everything, it's a process. And I feel like we are going to have some big bucks come up on this channel later in life. But anyways, guys, I'm going to leave your time to that. Hope you guys enjoyed this verse of the week. Have a blessed rest of your week. And always remember, when nature calls or God calls, you better answer. Peace out.